Wait. Just kidding. Go ahead.
I was like, oh, the music's loud because Patrick was making me listen to things. Hold on. Actually, what Patrick was making me listen to was before Pat and Wade knew each other. Wade one time was very drunk and went in on one of Pat's streams before they knew each other, and so I listened to a very drunk Wade getting upset with nope, I almost said Doxy. Getting upset with Molly for taking away his beer, and then he's tried to sneak a shot, but then she took away his shot, and all she would give him was water, and then he spilled it on his crotch. And I was like, why am I listening to this right now? Why are you doing this to me?
Oddly enough, funny. I think I've heard that audio clip. From what you're describing, I think I've heard that.
It was from years ago, years. I mean, like Pat had short hair. He was all nubile. It was crazy. Anyways, hi everybody. Sorry for the loud noises. And why do I feel like I'm short?
Because there's entirely too much negative space above your head.
Because you are.
These two listen to me, and you do not.
No. I think I think my camera got moved. Yeah.
Plus the couch looks weird. Like it looks so tiny.
It does look tiny.
It's just behind him very far. That's all.
That's because I had a conference call
like
today.
That chair for me.
When I do conference calls, I have to put my microphone like just out of view, so you can't see that it's there.
Do you ever so it looks like you're talking to
I am very conscious of how I look when I do these things. Because one time ever, it was during this while we were still in shutdown. One time ever, I was like, so listen, let me tell you about. I'm super self-conscious about it. Yeah.
Well, so I do interviews pretty frequently, and I use my setup here, and this is right, it's right here. So the thing is very entertaining when people ask me, oh, what's that all for? And I'm like, oh, music.
Sorry, I was trying to make this disappear.
Yeah, it's not gonna
but that didn't work.
It did not work. But yeah, no, I just say music, and I lie. I bold-faced lie to them.
I lie by saying I do different things than what I do, and just leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's
I
also
rig
fair.
Out home. I do this stuff with it, and just leave it alone. I don't need them to see the quality of this or what that is there. Just leave it alone. And the only reason I've never pulled down the green screen and just put my background, my and then did something funny like let Roy run by or something like that, is because Zoom is so loaded on servers right now. Every once in a while you'll see it just flashes green. And I'm like, I don't need anybody asking about that. I'm good.
Nope.
I'm good.
Nope.
Yeah. But all the boomers definitely do the thing that Josh is doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, look at me, I'm in San Diego. Ha!
Yeah.
Like,
it's
okay. But they use the stock photos.
Yeah.
That come with it.
Hold on, let me use an example. Sorry, hold on, let's make this super lame. Be like, don't mind me, guys. I'm just enjoying my vacation. Ha!
And you're
it's so hot.
Somebody taught Margaret how to fucking do a background. Taught her how to do it.
Margaret is such an old people name too.
I just want you to know,
but
there are people.
Peggy.
There are people who have been doing that in our organization, jokingly saying, oh, haha, I'm just on vacation. And people are dumb enough in my organization occasionally to be like, oh my goodness, they're on vacation. They can't take their work laptop across borders. This is a government equipment piece. You can't take that across the border, Karen. What are you doing?
That's government workers right there.
That's government workers, and it's just, and then they flash the green screen and go back into their home, and they're like, what are you talking about? And those are the types of people we have that I work with. So
you see, they'd be like, am I being watched right now? Can you see what's happening? Oh no. Oh, this is less funny on stream because I have little things right here that kind of get in the way of it, but that's for you guys. Anyways.
Very nice, Doxy. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yep.
How you guys doing? Oh, I don't get that one, Doxy. That one doesn't make sense to me.
It's a head wrapping.
See, I think this one's more fitting. What do you think?
I can't believe how actually great it looks on you.
Wow.
Like it just looks good on you.
What?
Is it a bat? It's a bat, right?
No.
It's a piggy. I can actually make the dopest, most realistic pig sounds.
Okay, well,
I grew up in Iowa. All right.
I think the back half didn't pick up, but the first half.
Yeah, the first it sounded good.
The first half was good, but then it stopped picking up.
You had us in the beginning. You had us in the beginning.
You had us in the beginning.
Really good.
Sorry,
Anyway,
this one
I'm
should be
sorry.
me constantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it should.
It really should.
Really should.
So this is the obligatory
I like your
half an
little
hour
birdie
dicking around
friend.
with Zoom filters.
Yeah, well, when you talk about how bad it is that people play with Zoom filters, all of a sudden you're like, all right, I better get this over with. I heard Zoom filters for a bit. Hey!
I'm actually curious. I'm curious to see if it does this.
It worked. That's beautiful. That's
I love the
beautiful.
one you're wearing. Like, you need to wear this over arena. The aliens. Oh, Jesus.
This is so stupid.
What
What
horror
the
is that?
What? Look at the glass.
they were just like
going
spinning
crazy.
around in
is
the
going on
point
right
where
now?
your head should be.
That was the best thing that I've ever had happen to me.
Oh, Scott looks so sad when he did it.
Yeah. I mean, the noir filter is pretty good.
This one?
Oh, I was playing Call of
The one
Duty.
I'm on. The one I'm
I
on.
really like this one right here. The first one over. This one looks really good in this room. Oh, let me show you the comparison in colors. So you have, this is the real color, and you add this one to it, and it's like, ooh, it's dark, it's nice. I like it. This looks good. All right, hi
So whenever
everybody.
we're not in scene, just turn on the noir filter.
So last time on
I like this.
Groundkeeper.
Like
well,
where this is
You don't
going.
need wrong TV for that. That's the
It is
TV
the
we
wrong
grew up
TV.
with, Josh.
you had TV?
Wow.
God, Scott, some of us were just poor.
No, I remember thinking like, oh my God, my
There you
friend
go.
has a TV with a remote works. Like we had to get up and go and change things, So now you can do it, Josh. Go ahead.
Last time on Thronekeeper, we did a lot of talking. That is it.
I secured my love life.
Yes.
It was the best thing that's happened this whole campaign.
I mean, rude, but okay.
I'm sorry, but true.
Look, I just thought the friendship we forged along the way meant something, but that's fine too.
Completely tertiary.
Yeah,
Great,
but
thank you.
You don't know how to work those hips like she does. Sorry.
Excuse me?
You
Excuse
are-
me?
you are
I don't
excused
know.
and welcome to leave.
How very fucking dare you?
I don't have ride check anymore, so I'm good.
Just
I
saying.
did.
She didn't put ranks and perform oral just because she's at the court. I could have been cleaner.
That could have been a cleaner joke.
Yeah.
It wasn't. We're
Yeah.
all disappointed.
Yeah, I was very disappointed in that. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it started good. You had us in the beginning.
You know what? I forgive you. Let's go.
All right.
all right, Doxy, all right. Oh, you mean campaign. Okay. Don't mind me, I'm eating, by the way. This episode brought to
I
you
was
by Turkey
disappointing
Hill
tonight
Chocolate
anyway,
Peanut Butter Cup.
apparently.
So was I. So,
Hold on, wait. Let me get
a
involved.
mediocre evening for all.
I mean, like, you came, but it wasn't mind-blowing.
It was one of those, like, you know what? We'll try that again at some point.
A 21 with
Oh, a +7
five
though.
stud.
Come the fuck on now.
Yeah. Whoa,
+7. Where the
Why
fuck
do
are
you
you getting
have
a +7? Get the
seven?
fuck out of here.
Still, I got all the natural, but you moved the +2. That's still a
Yeah.
She's at most.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing though. You rolled with a +7 in that.
Fine. I'll change it
Roll
to a
it
2.
again. Roll it again.
No one noticed I did stealth.
That's much more appropriate.
Were you watching?
No. You can't see me. No, y'all saw me. What?
Hold on. You're right, I didn't. I
You're
was busy.
You guys are busy. It's fine.
All right, I'll see if I see you. And I permitted it.
Oh, Scott just looks in the corner.
This is what I came here for.
Oh, okay. Two things. First of all, that was 6 done. So yay! And second of all, you were leaning in there, and your face started tweaking out there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. No,
It's
no.
this spot right here. I
Yeah.
can't do anything about exposure, I don't think, which is really a pain in the ass.
No,
If you
they-
open OBS,
I'm
yeah,
not in OBS.
the way that I do it is I open OBS and then put a webcam source in there and then use those settings to fix my exposure. It is much more fine.
This is the
Fine.
worst fucking
You used to
exposure
not be
tool.
able to do that. You used to have to do that with XSplit, but OBS finally allows it. So
This fucking exposure tool on the Logitech Capture
Oh,
is just
I'm
absolute
sick.
trash.
Yo, but you match your library so good. You match the lighting in there.
This is
Which one
okay.
of us? Who?
Josh did.
Yeah. I was gonna say I look. Actually, I don't. I do kind of match mine as well, just from where my light is coming in as well. But
I think mine does, right?
I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
make it-
Mine just looks too real. I feel like I'm sitting on the floor in front of the couch. Like I'm like sitting, you know, what do they call it now? Crisscross applesauce, since you're not allowed to say Indian style or something like that. Anyways,
You shouldn't.
what, say Indian style?
Yeah.
But Indians generally prefer the term Indian over Native American.
It depends on which group of people.
What they-
and this is a much larger discussion.
What they like is bands of First Nation people.
I see. I'm cool with that one, but Native American is a confused term.
Native American isn't a good term. That's
It's a terrible term because it refers to all the peoples from the northern reaches of Canada to the southern reaches of South America. So it's like bad term. But anyways, so the indigenous is usually what I use, to be fair.
I also
So,
use indigenous
yeah.
a lot.
that's the default term in Canada, and it is a conflicting term right now.
I'm
so
sure it is.
I'm not touching
Yeah, I don't blame you.
at all. Yeah.
Can we
Baby.
play?
Yeah.
Play?
That doesn't
Okay.
seem like something we do here,
So I'm saying
Doxy. Come on
crisscross
now.
applesauce in front of that chair over there.
Wait, this isn't a podcast? Oh, I've been
this is
wrong.
where we talk nonsense for an hour and then we play D&D for 3 hours, right? That's how this works. And by D&D, I of course mean in this case Fantasy Age, but tabletop RPGs.
So we're heading to Little Iscaria, right?
Are you yet? I thought there was
Arsu?
one more thing you were doing right before you left. Or did we finish everything out 100%?
Doxy, I think, was the last thing.
Yeah, Doxy did everything she wanted to do. I think Laszlo did everything he wanted to do. I thought Oscar had something left that he wanted
Yeah.
to
There
do.
was one other thing that I wanted to do too.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah. I just need to meet with Teacher Man if he's around.
Oh,
'cause- No, of course not. So,
No.
you know,
He has no office hours. He's
this is legitimately, I just am gonna send him a letter then letting him know that we are heading back down to Little Iscaria so he doesn't try to meet with me again and then creepily stand at the end of my bed when I arrive back. That's what I'm doing with
You
my
should really wash your feet when you sleep before you go to bed. They smell horrible.
Just a fucking delight. Anyways, I'm gonna send that letter. I think that was the only thing I needed to do. I don't know. It's been 2 weeks.
Rena, you could have been a gothic princess as well, but you bought bath bombs instead. Just
I bought
saying,
bath bombs.
you had a choice and you made one. It was a
Ain't nothing wrong.
conversation earlier.
Okay, I was
She-
gonna say.
She had a choice and she chose bath bombs. Just saying. Just saying. All right. There's nothing wrong with bath bombs unless you. What do you do in Florida with them? Do you eat them? I don't know. Anyways, so
You smoke them.
No, that's faces. You're thinking faces.
Oh, that's
We
the
eat faces.
faces.
You
Sorry.
smoke the bath product.
You want to see Gothic Princess? Don't tempt me. Whoa. All right, so you.
I want to see Gothic Rena. Oh, I want to see
told her
that. Sorry.
I was like, you're gonna stream on Halloween, right? Like. No, anyways, so Doxy, what was the last thing you wanted to do before you left, since the gentleman couldn't find office hours?
Have the crispy lady over just as friends.
Which one's the crispy lady?
The one who has the box. I cannot think of her name.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Arcadia? No.
Yeah.
Arceum.
Arceum.
Yeah.
Why crispy?
She's cold and crispy. She's
Oh,
not very
Crisp
soft
is
around
in
the edges.
crisp is in cold, not
yeah,
as in like
as in the
chicken.
crunchy.
Yeah. Not as in chicken. I was like,
is there a burn victim? Is she being like cruel right now? What is she doing? What is she talking about? But okay, gotcha. All right. So you're inviting Lady Arceum over, and she, when you send her the invitation, how is it phrased? What do you say?
I'd be delighted to partake in your company this evening.
She would probably respond with something along the lines of, I'm preoccupied with, other things, so on and so forth. If it was just like a basic invitation like that, she would just simply say, like, I'm unavailable this evening. I'm otherwise occupied.
All right, then I would send back name a date and a menu.
Gotcha. So more or less trying to do the whole flowery thing again. You
Yeah.
can actually roll me a, this would be an etiquette check. Communications etiquette?
I imagine that does it.
Oh my god.
well, we're off to the races.
She couldn't roll well in bed, but oh man. She writes a letter real well.
Look, once you're in a relationship, you don't have to.
Fair enough.
Foreplay is half
That
the
is-
battle anyway.
Okay. I have so many.
Foreplay is
issues
3/4 of the battle, honestly.
with everything except what Doxy is saying. I have issues. I just need to throw that out there.
What do you have issues with?
Never mind. It's fine. Continue. I will
Scott's brain
derail
went
us.
to the roll. He didn't hear what I said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
I did not hear you said sorry.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay.
I will derail us again, though. Don't let me.
I won't.
Stop
All right,
me.
so
Thank you.
you. Anyway, so Doxy, yeah, you fucking crush it. You say name the date, the time, so on and so forth, the menu, and she'll actually, because obviously you're being a little bit insistent, like I want to see you soon, but you guys are also looking to leave soon. So Doxy, would you be leaning towards before you leave, or you be leaning towards after you come back?
Whatever works for her.
Oh,
Hopefully before we leave, but
if you're kind of pushing for before you leave, it's like one of those name the menu. She'll actually shoot back saying, and I think you guys intended to leave the next day, but because we're evil, she actually will shoot back simply saying, my favorite chef is making one of my favorite meals tomorrow as a special on his menu.
great. I will have some ordered in.
Yeah.
Sorry, boys.
And this is when Josh realizes that was the night I was supposed to have a meet. Oh. I just sit outside of her office like a simp.
Wait, were we supposed to have another meeting? No, you liar.
You were after you returned.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I guess I got another day of research I could do.
Because you guys are
So-
gonna leave the next day. Instead, you're gonna stick around one more day. So Doxy,
Okay.
just kind of flashing forward through all this shit so you can get to the evening. She'll come and she'll join you for the evening. When she comes in, she of course, so she comes in. She's carrying less paperwork than she was last time, but she still has a bit of stuff with her. And she was walking through the door. Oh, she knock on the door.
She wouldn't even have to because I'd be waiting for her downstairs. I would grab half of what she was carrying, I would open doors, usher her inside.
Okay. So, as you just said all that stuff and just kind of usher her in, and she would make her way over to the dining area, but not just like sit down and start eating or anything. Like, make her way over to the dining area, and at first there's that little bit of kind of like nobility song and dance that happens, where there's a little bit of pleasantry, so on and so forth.
Sure, curtsies and whatnot.
Yeah. Even
I would
mild
take
conversation where you sit.
I would take her coat. I would also offer her a choice of incense that would be burning. Like I would bring over a box that has many compartments and be like, why don't you smell these while I go hang your coat? And have her select one. And then I would come back and pull out her chair for her.
I have to go put my ice cream in the freezer. In the interim, because actually there's a response I want to give, why don't you go ahead and roll me a once again, this is gonna be an etiquette check.
Sure.
for this kind of like introduction as she's first getting there and whatnot, okay?
Ooh, that was rough.
Yeah, you should
Yuck it.
luck it.
Yuck
We need
it.
her to stay. We need her to actually like us, because this woman's a tough cookie.
That's much better.
I'm so impressed by your RP of like this, like the fancy high class, like service industry kind of thing. Like you come up with some amazing descriptors.
I have been a bartender server for a very long time, and I was not well liked in high school. So I
Dox, you're like the
focused
same
on my
person.
social skills.
I know that life.
Yeah.
I focused a lot on them.
That's yeah. The perk that I had, I don't know if you had this, but I think you did based off what you've told me before. I got to move a lot as a kid, so I got to reinvent myself because it was pre the digital crap that exists now.
Right.
Which again is one of the main reasons why I keep my daughter off the internet. So, you know.
Wait till she's like 17, dog.
Yeah, you're not really gonna keep her off
no,
when it
no,
actually
that's-
matters.
No, but the thing is, like, I got to reinvent myself. I was in high school in the same school the entire time, so I had to reinvent myself so many times prior to high school. And I was a failure there too, but it could have been worse. It could have been so much worse.
I mean, it's like people don't get it nowadays, but like, there's this movie back in the early 2000s called The New Kid, where it was like you legitimately could do shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie's not great, but
It
But
has
you could-
Eliza Dushku,
I
trailer
know.
park queen. I love her.
Listen, Eliza Dushku is, yeah.
She's the queen of the trailer park, and I love her.
Eliza Dushku's from, where's she from? Where's she from? Boston.
Okay.
Absolutely, she's from Boston, from Southie.
you know, for a person that's like, I don't really care about the history test, like the DNA test, because it's kind of stupid. It's not important. But she comes from Boston. She comes from
Absolutely
Boston.
does. It's Eliza Dushku. I stake a claim. Okay. So
I get Elijah Wood and Ashton Kutcher, and I'm pretty happy with that.
you can have Ashton Kutcher.
He's
Nobody's
an
gonna fight with you.
amazing person.
Yeah.
I get Daniel Tosh. The Lums are the same school. So
Sorry. The
Anyway,
the girl
I
that's
ended up with a 14.
the voice actress from the Carmen Sandiego show went to high school with me. I did a musical with her. I didn't sing. The one with the wicked bad accent. That one. Anyways, moving on. So you got a 15 total, right? 14 total, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So when you come back, she actually is going to say, she's actually going to have selected incense and will respond to you saying, allow me to introduce you to the person that I use to purchase incense. It's incredibly important to make sure that you have the right ambiance when you're trying to focus and relax.
Agreed. I haven't had much time to peruse. I would love that. And I'll slip a sheet of paper and say, write down a date and time where I should meet you. And we'll go shopping.
Oh, you reference for going shopping, and she looks down, and again, that's so forward for her to and she literally just responds, and again, it almost comes off as slightly cold, but she comes off as like, I'd have to check my schedule. I have a rather full itinerary.
Sure, send a letter. No problem.
And
then I will remove the dome from her food.
And it's roast simp. She loves it.
And ask what she'll have to drink.
Did she, glass of she honestly like ice water, whatever it is, because ice isn't super rare here. They have it whenever they want it. So a glass of ice water, but honestly, what else she would take because she doesn't drink while she's working.
I would get her some, and I would say, you can relax. This is a social call. We'll be leaving soon. It might be dangerous. I just wanted to see you one more time should anything untoward happen.
Well, was that the reason for the meeting, was to just spend the evening?
Yes, I just rather enjoy your presence.
She'll kind of fall into, again, just kind of polite banter, so on and so forth, for a little while you guys are enjoying your meal, allowing it to kind of play its course, so if you will. And eventually, after you guys kind of done eating, and you can move away from that setting over to where you can relax a little bit more at the couch, where you can relax a little bit more. The two of you will be able to go over there and sit down and And she would actually kind of, leaning into a little bit more.
The couch.
There you go. Leaning into it a little bit more, she would say, so really though, Chryselen, what was the reason for this meeting?
I genuinely enjoy your perspective on things. I like to talk to you, and I was hoping to do some of that.
Completely understand.
Sincerely.
To which topics were you hoping to acquire my perspective?
Whatever you're passionate about at moment.
She will allow that to linger for a couple of seconds. You can roll.
You know, Lady Arceum, how sometimes in the summer it's hot, and the only thing that will do is a watermelon. You must have a watermelon. You crave it.
Yes.
I'm getting ready to leave this city, and I craved you. That's all.
You can roll an insight check or whatever it's called in this game. Empathy. Jesus fucking Christ, Oxy.
We'll call
As I
that
said,
degree of success.
We're off to the fucking races.
I know, seriously. I gotta get rid of this, by the way. It's causing a lag on me. So all the additional stuff's causing a little lag. So anyways, you, once you, so you, what you're reading off of her is she straight out doesn't believe you. Like, she genuinely thinks that you're trying to trick her into letting down her guard, being comfortable, and allow her to guide herself into the conversation that you want to have so you can glean information that she does not want to give. And so reading this off of her, she simply says, very well then, I'd love to tell you about the book that I've been reading lately. And
Perfect.
she goes on into talking about a book that is honestly makes no sense to you. She's talking about some type of magic.
It makes no sense to Chryselen with
hold
the
on.
+5 intelligence.
You can roll an Arcana check if you have it. Otherwise, it's an intelligence check.
I can't believe you're smarter than me. That
It makes
sucks.
no sense to Chryselen.
So the thing is, like, no matter how intelligent you are, this is deep. So you can be an incredibly intelligent person. Somebody starts talking about, like high tier physics, and you're like, I get that we're talking about physics and that gravity is involved, but that's pretty much where you're leaving me at the door. And she's
Okay,
kind of
but
going
a thing
into
that
this.
I would do, though, sorry to keep interrupting
No,
you,
please.
but like, I think it's important that I get these things in, is that when I fall off of the like path, I'll show vulnerability, and I'll tell her, I'll be like, I don't quite understand that. Could you dumb it down for me? And like have her explain things to me.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah.
How's that gift go?
Explain like I'm 5.
Yeah. So, and she would, stop, steady herself, and then she would do exactly that, like an educator.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, though, where she often has to check herself, where she realizes she's being a bit condescending, on how often that she has to completely change the way that she's describing things. But she also understands that she's here as a guest and is trying to be friendly about it. So she has to, again, check herself to not be condescending when referring to Chryselen. At the end of this drawn-out explanation of this topic that, again, you honestly are pretty sure she's just trying to test you.
Sure.
And she said she'll kind of finish off the conversation with, and so I'm excited to see what it is that this author has to say next, because while none of his theories have been proven to be correct thus far, at least he's putting in the effort.
I, embarrassingly, have found myself quite wrapped up in fiction lately. Fiction, can you believe? I'm on a special council to save a kingdom, and I can't get enough smut.
Smut.
Don't tell me you've never had the pleasure.
I can say with confidence that I have not.
Just please help yourself to any of the tobaccos and shishas. I will be right back. And I go start fingering through a bookshelf and pick a particularly good one about a woman who's in a seat of power who takes on a trainee who is like lusty, and it's perfect for her, right?
Doug, you're about to give her subtle innuendos that she should go for Laszlo. She'll read this and be like, I do like the way that little man looks at me. It looks like this.
Utter discomfort.
Right, like, hi, Laszlo. Is this what you're used to staring at, Laszlo?
Hello.
Beard and everything.
Right.
I hand it to her and I say, a gift from me to you. You will not want to give it back.
And the main character's name is Stewie.
Well, no, the romance. The object of romance is named Stewie.
Interesting. And she tucks the book, like she puts it on the counter near her. You know she'll remember to bring it. She's too keen to not. And then from there, you guys can move on to, again, another topic. We don't need to go into the details of what it is.
Sure. And I'll offer her a massage or like a bath or whatever. And literally just like let conversation go wherever it goes.
Okay. And so the two of you kind of finish up things, so on and so forth. And again, overall, you rolled really well. It ended up being a pretty successful evening. Just for shoring up the evening, I'm going to have you roll me one final etiquette check.
Sure. I did it. Sorry. There we go.
Oh, I keep forgetting only rolls one die now, which is like genuinely upsetting. It's actually rather upsetting, but moving on. So you finish up the night, and she will actually finish the evening with book in hand, saying something along the lines of, well, I do have to say this was another incredibly relaxing evening. I genuinely appreciate it. I'm sure we could spend some time together in the future, perhaps shopping or otherwise.
Sure. I'm at your beck and call.
Scott, I forgot I needed to do something. I forgot we needed to do something.
Okay.
I gave away my wands. I have to buy a wand.
I thought you had a basic wand. Is that the one that broke before?
That's the one I used on him to give him his tattoo.
That's true.
So I've been using the stolen wands as my wand.
Which now isn't an option because I just gave those to...
I have 482 gold. This is the only thing Laszlo would spend every dime he has on to get a nice wand.
And if you find something that's too much, Chris Allen will bankroll you too. Yeah.
I've got a 116 that I can spare as well.
Yeah, he wouldn't buy clothes for himself. He wouldn't buy.
Yeah, this is an important piece. Though.
If she's not still here, if somebody could clip this, please. Rena, we have 3 potential novels for the lusty novel that Doxy's allowing this noblewoman to read. The 3 options are The Gish with a Frozen Heart, Love on the Ice Wall, or The Spear of the Venator. Which one do you think? Which one is canon that was borrowed by Lady Arceum? Thank you.
I genuinely adore Love on the Ice Wall.
I won't lie, I like Spear of the Venator.
Spear of the Venator sounds more lusty.
Yeah. Also, because it sounds
I think
like
I'm gonna split the vote though. I really like Love on the Ice Wall. Even as the Venator in the group, I
like Spear of the Venator because it has like a triple meaning. You know what I mean?
I get it. Trust me, I understood the reference with it, but I think Love on the Ice Wall just has like an actual, like, that is something I could actually picture being in like a fantasy romance novel, period.
Hot Nights on the Ice Wall.
I mean, that's just a bad movie. It's a bad 80s movie. So.
Debbie Does Dallas.
No,
not quite.
They're not gonna get that. That's old. That's an old.
Doxy knows what Debbie Does Dallas is.
Yes, of course Doxy does.
I understood that.
Wait. I said that too intensity. I said that with too much intensity. I didn't mean it like that. I meant because we are older.
Doxy.
Because we're older.
Coming up, and I hate it.
I'm sorry.
And besides, I just
That was way too intense. I shouldn't have reacted that way.
I assume, you know how like Canadians get like TV shows and music from like America 10 years too late? I assume he knows what it is because
That's
porn
not
probably
how it
goes
works.
the same way.
Not how it works. You realize I grew up in Vancouver, right? Like the one place in Canada that does get stuff on time.
I mean, not only that, but most of this stuff is filmed there because of taxes.
Yep.
Like,
It's like, oh wow, this is supposed to be New York. Hey, hold on a second, that's Toronto. Why is that Toronto right now? Oh, it is. It just is. And,
actually, in
it's
the
John
morning,
Wick movie. In Vancouver.
in Vancouver, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually would have in the morning messaged Arceum for her advice on purchasing a place to get a nice wand. Seeing how I don't have a wand anymore, and she's like the magic guru of this area. I would ask my master, but I couldn't find him. So even if I wanted to. So.
I mean, honestly, there's many places where you could buy a wand in the town. You could just specifically ask her about a wand.
Yeah, I was gonna ask her because quality matters, right? And she would know of people that are more talented, even though other people can make them. Maybe certain people are more talented.
Etiquette check, sir.
Oh, I don't have etiquette. What is that? Communications.
Communication.
Yeah. Ewa! Ah!
She will send a letter back with instruction of what to purchase, where to purchase it, and the amount of money for you to bring with you.
How much? I only got 482, and I know she's a rich woman.
Oh, okay. Good. You're almost there. It's 500 gold.
Hey, Oscar.
Yeah.
You know how you have that really nice new spear?
What do you need?
12 gold.
Just 12?
No, 18. I don't know how to do math. 18 gold.
Tell you what. Here's 20 because I also don't know how to do math.
Well, this is two more. Oh, I get it. All right. So I'll take my 502 gold to this place, and I will not even barter. I will just go, here's the letter from Lady Arceum, here's the money, and I'll wait.
Okay. And you just more or less go there and you just say, wand, please. And they'll actually bring you over a well-crafted, well-made wands of the appropriate size and design and so on and so forth for you. When you actually get this wand and you give it a good swish and flick, you realize that it fits comfortably in your hands. You actually like the design of it. It's going to take you a bit to get used to, but you could probably figure that out on the travel down. After you get used to it, you come to realize that all of your spells are going to do +1 damage.
Hell yeah.
+1 damage? That's
Any spell that
okay.
you cast with damage adds a +1. Not D, just 1.
No, yeah. Does that also apply to the arcane blast? Because that's combat. That's not magic. I mean, it's magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you still use the wand, right? So yeah.
Yeah, it does use the one. Okay, cool. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah. Hey, sexy.
Lady
my
Arceum
two attack.
says, sexy, he says.
Making
What?
notes.
She doesn't have the book yet.
Corvain Diplomacy says I should say, shut up, short stuff,
Yes, ma'am.
and get a ladder. Sorry. Sorry.
I've never used that line. Never used that line, but you know what? We'll consider it in the future. I feel like that's gonna get me in trouble.
Doxy, has anybody said that to you? Being, as little as you are.
No.
There's
What
chance.
smart person would ever say that to a person?
It's a terrible idea.
My wife's 4'11". I'm definitely gonna use that line tomorrow. And you know what the funny part is? She'll probably take 2 steps to the side and literally grab a ladder because she has them around the house.
Yeah.
So,
Those are step stools, not ladders.
same difference.
No, it's not to us.
They are a step ladder. They are not a real ladder. How dare you?
You know what? I will give a full report on this one after I say that's a step stool, not a ladder. Disappointing. Well, I'll let you know how she reacts to that. It's not gonna go well.
We're not the ones who have to endure it. This is this
Yeah,
is
that's true.
us. I don't see an issue here.
All right, so continuing on for the. Why do I feel like I keep hearing a popping noise?
Do you keep hearing a popping noise?
I do. It's just it keeps sounding like. Hey, Zalamos, thank you. It keeps sounding like I hear like almost like a wire connecting in with my headphones. It's really frustrating. I do apologize. All right. Anyways, so you guys eventually grab your shit and you leave. Bye. You go down river. Bye. Takes you like 2.5 days to get there, or whatever it is. Which we can fast forward through all of that stuff. So when I think Zalamos just donated those bits to break your wand. No, I'm just kidding. So when you guys get down there, you can go back into the city. So this is Josh, you just said it 2 seconds ago. The city of Hekatia.
Little Iscaria.
Hekatia, or Little Iscaria.
Yeah.
The place where we just recently were.
Correct. Where you met Ghost and you met Krilla and you met the other Corvain whose name
I will point out to Doxy, no, not to Doxy, to Chris Allen, the underground casino that we would have told her about by this point. Like, I would point out to where it is in case that's something that she could use. I don't know.
Sounds like great fun, but I don't know how it would help us any.
Well, I would assume that there's a lot of information that probably travels through those types of places.
Let's go and gamble for a night then.
Okay. How do we talk to a person that's in the secret services? How would we message them?
Are you talking about Krilla?
Yes. Because we're here to see them, right? Maybe we can arrange that. As well.
Laszlo, and I pull the letter out from Lady Isaac to her sister. I'm like, I have this under control.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I thought Oscar was gonna we wrote to her, remember, previously with the thing, but we never got a letter back.
No worries. And like, I know where her office is. I went to her office, so I would go to her office.
Got it.
No, I understand. Are you going straight to her office? Or are you guys going to go and have a night of relaxation first? That was kind of a conversation between you guys.
I would like to invite her on our night of relaxation. You guys aren't interested in that?
I don't think that's the type of place you bring royalty. Pretty much. It's a lot of smoke and
having been in there myself, I would suggest it is not everyone's cup of tea.
A den of scum and villainy.
It's awfully interesting that you presume
I'm
what
not
is
necessarily...
and is not one of our betters' cups of tea.
Again, not presuming, more concerned.
I was thinking more of a legal activity and being part of law enforcement.
Yeah, but secretly. She might find it quite thrilling.
I'm not worried about her, to be fair. I'm more worried about Ghost, the person that runs it. They may not be happy us bringing law enforcement into that kind of establishment.
We'll disguise her.
Laszlo.
Yes.
Do you remember who brought us there?
What was her name? It's the Jewel. The pewter or whatever, fake pewter, Jewel.
I don't remember her name either.
I want to say it's like Ava or.
I think it is Ava. I'm trying to get my notes right now.
I'm looking for my notes,
it's Ava.
but I don't have it.
Ava Obsidian, the Hafue.
Yeah. She was working for the Precalum.
That is true. I mean, we could offer.
My point is they are aware of the debt. They are already aware of it, and if they are aware of it, that means that it is very likely that Ghost is aware that they are aware of it. I'm a soldier. I'm not a police officer. So
That's a fair point. Okay, I stand corrected. Right away then.
I'm just a general sense of worry and anxiety, Cresellen. That's what was on my face there.
There's no saying that she'll accept anyway.
No, of course. Again, general worry and anxiety.
Carousing is the way that I normally make a happy contact, is all.
Well, carousing is where I usually make very unhappy contact. So,
Well, then you'll do the talking in the office and I'll do the talking in the casino.
fair enough.
All right, so are you heading to the office first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will give Oscar the letter to give to her.
This is coming from you. I appreciate that, but realistically, we're going in. If we are going in, we're going in together. Better to have support.
Sure, but this is a way for you to be able to take the conversation
I can take
with purpose.
other ways.
All right. Why don't you just take care of all of the social interactions? Why don't you
No,
just decide
no.
how they go?
Cresellen, the pre-column is, in a sense, a branch of the military. I have other means and other reasons to talk to her. You have the reasons that are outside of that. I don't want to cross that line because I will end up getting worse for wear. If I try and cross the social line as opposed to the business line, that's where I stumble. I just know that you're better at that. That's all.
It is an icebreaker, but we'll do it your way. It's going to go worse.
What else is new? I'm a blunt object.
Well, I mean, your spear is actually rather sharp, but I'm just interested in the magics that they might be able to offer me. I doubt they will, though.
Fair enough.
Well then, let's go.
So the three of you are going to head straight to the office. I mean, are you even going to take a moment to kind of clean yourself up from the road, or it's no?
Yeah.
Before we even find a room to settle ourselves into, we go straight to the office because the business it's important.
That's something that Oscar would leave up to the others. He wouldn't really think to clean up necessarily, but
Chris Ellen looks great even when she's disheveled, so it doesn't really matter to her.
well, Laszlo is the one that we need to worry about here about.
Yeah,
wanting to
Laszlo
clean
looks
up.
dirty when he's clean. So he's
But I feel like if no one else cares, Laszlo.
Laszlo would not care.
Yeah. So Scott, it sounds like we're going straight there.
No problem. So you guys head straight to the office, and when you hit, I think it's Josh muting and unmuting. Because I've been
What?
watching, I feel like every time Josh mutes, I think is what causes the popping noise. I think that's what it is.
I just heard it. Yeah.
Right? I think it's when he does it. So I could be wrong, but I think it's coming from Josh. I might be a crazy person though. Okay, so sorry, Josh.
I don't hear it.
You-
I don't know
that's-
what you're talking about.
That's okay. So anyways, when you guys are heading down to where her office is, literally she's the the mayor or whatever you want to call it of the town. She's the high noble that actually leads the town. It's actually a majocracy is what runs this particular location, and she happens to be the head of it. So when you guys go to the area where it is, I mean, walking into the government building here is kind of nice for you, Laszlo. It's large. There's stone structures all about. You can see, just looking at it, because you have a gnomish keen eye, the way that the stone has been placed, the way that it's been carved, so on and so forth. This wasn't done by hand. This building in and of itself is stunting to a degree, right? In that it is designed to look like it was created by magic, which it likely was, or at least by hand and enhanced by magic to give it that kind of look to it. It's impressive, large. The statues, the columns, the way that the brick is laid out, so on and so forth. It kind of is a bit awe-inspiring. Walking into the government building, there is a huge antechamber, like a huge room that you can walking into with a large staircase that leads up and beyond, kind of like once again leaves you with a bit of like a whew, this place is massive. You've been into real courthouses and some of the more grand ones that we have here, and I imagine other countries as well. You get the general idea of what I'm describing. So the thing that strikes you the most is that the stone itself that they use in this place is stark white. Like, I mean, not just marble, like white. It's very clean. So you guys can walking in off the road, there's no denying the fact that your footsteps leave a bit of debris. Yours aren't the only ones. There's other footsteps about in the area that leave a bit of debris as well. And you can see there are people that have the responsibility to go around constantly cleaning the floor. For you, what's your name? Venator. What the hell your name is? Oscar. Could you go ahead and roll me a history check? This is like a cultural history.
So that's I don't know. Is it so? It's a lore check presumably. So intelligence probably.
Yeah.
It's actually not terrible.
Would you like to luck it?
That's the question. Thoughts, folks?
Your call.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Use it.
Okay, so you actually are able to discern that you have yawning. My apologies. You're actually able to discern that you have a that these people here, or at least I should say you recall that these people here that are going to go about cleaning up, so on and so forth. These are actually the apprentices that are looking to get a dedicated master to them. So anybody that comes here looking for their schooling, looking for their patronage, so on and so forth, to actually become a student, not inside of a classroom, learning basic learning in a more general sense, that wants to actually earn somebody's attention to get that more dedicated kind of tutelage that Josh's character got when he first got here, kind of almost for free. They're gonna like lick boots and do whatever they have to do so, and so this is one of the many tasks that they do to catch somebody's eye. You wouldn't think, okay, wait, literally cleaning a floor? How is that going to get you a master? Well, this is more falls into the line of what, say, Laszlo would understand if this was explained to him by Oscar. It's the way that they clean the floor, how it is they're manipulating the magics, not like how clean the floor is, right? But it's literally the degree of magic and control and whatnot that they have as they're going about doing this task. A person that's well trained in the magics could look over and see what technique and whatnot they use, see if somebody has promise, if somebody has almost like a bridling power that's like sitting there and just has no control over it, things that would kind of catch their eye. Moving on. Everybody thinks that they're Harry Potter. Most of them are just Neville's. So you guys make your way through the chamber, and you go walking up into the desk that's standing there. The desk itself is very high to the point where even the tall Venator himself has his shoulders come up to the top of the desk. You have poor Cressellin, who's not incredibly short, but still, it's literally like you'd have to take several steps back to see the person sitting behind the desk. And Laszlo can make two choices. One, stand back and adjacent to Cressellin and not see what's going on overhead, or step back even further to get the angle to see what's overhead over there, right? The person sitting behind the desk obviously is sitting into a tall chair so they can easily sit above and look over and peer down at you. Venator, do you step back with Cressellin, or do you walk right up to the desk because you have the capacity to do so, being 6'4"?
That's my real life height, but no. No, Oscar's only 6'1", 6'2".
6'1",
Yeah.
That's fine. Still,
Only
applies.
Scott wishes.
Well,
I don't want to be freakishly tall. Just I need that 1 inch, just one more inch. You know what I'm talking about.
6'1".
Just a 1 inch.
I
I
get
just want
that.
to be 6 foot flat. Because people don't bother you when you're 6 feet. They only bother you when you're 5'11".
People are only worried about it when they're under 6 feet. So
Because everybody else is mean about it.
it's most people
It's
who are
never
over
come up in a conversation outside of Scott with me, by the way.
most people who are over 6 feet don't have conversations about height unless prompted to, because people are like, wow, you're tall. You're so tall.
Well, your
How
face is
tall are
twitching.
you?
Good eye, Jack.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. It's the whole how's the weather up there thing. You think I didn't get that all growing up? Of course I did.
Eric got a pretty good response. He kind of fine-tuned the whole, well, how do you like paying more for clothing that still doesn't fit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, that's good, Eric. It's good.
It's a good response. So no, I wouldn't walk directly up because I'd stick with the group basically. So I'd stand with Chrysalin, essentially.
Sure. So you keep the several steps back.
Yep.
So you walk up to the place, and the person
Clearly what it's built for. Like that's clearly what they want you to do. They don't want you to actually be able to walk up and look over.
The person that's sitting there, the gentleman that's sitting there looking down at you, looks down and says, "Hello, good day. How is it that I could assist the three of you this evening? Or this fine afternoon."
Hello. We're here to see Miss Isaac.
My apologies. Do you mean the governess?
Yes. Sorry. Dreadfully rude of me. I have a letter from her sister.
May I?
No.
It's not going to be opened if that's what you are implying.
I know that enough magics run around through here that it need not be opened to be read.
It also doesn't need to be read. May I?
Since you're so delightful. And she'll hand it over.
Thank you very much. And so he reaches down as you take the 2 steps up and reach up with it. He reaches down, takes the letter from you, and literally, as you were just suggesting, casts a bit of a spell to over the envelope. You guys can roll an arcane lore if you have it.
I don't have
Divination if you have focus in it. Good job, Oscar.
9.
Josh, the magic that you're using, this divination magic that you're using, is kind of it's a detecting of authenticity for the seal right there. So you can literally see it's running almost like a sort of looking for like a chemical breakdown almost of like the materials that are used inside the wax, the authenticity, of the actual seal, so on and so forth. Just kind of like checking to make sure that all the different details pertaining to this fit in line with what would be a real seal of the family line. And so after they cast a spell and check out that they see that it's good, they say, they hand a letter back to you and say, did the Lady Isaac say whether or not this was an urgent matter?
She did not. And my apologies for being brusque, but I was instructed to deliver it personally.
I understood that. Why else would you be traveling with the Venator?
Precisely.
She's a little occupied at the moment.
Sure. Can I leave a message with her?
Pats you on the shoulder, Laszlo. Don't worry.
No, I actually have a question for Sky. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh,
him
sure.
I wanted to know if I could surmise the abilities of this person casting a spell.
Ooh.
With 5 stem points.
It's a good question. I want to say yes. Low tier routine magics, focused on divination.
Okay.
If you were putting it inside Archie Cogger's words.
Okay.
My apologies.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt the conversation, so I was waiting. I'm sorry.
You're fine. So back to you, Doxy. They say, I just simply need to look through her itinerary and see when she has time to fit you in. Is this something that needs to be had today, or do you think you mind waiting a couple days?
Whatever works for her.
In that case, flipping through a book, I have a time slot that fits for you. It'll be in 2 days' time. It'll be in the morning, late morning, truth be told.
Do let her know that I came and that I have a letter for her. And if she so chooses to use her free time to come and find me, I'll be staying at the inn.
Which
do you recommend?
The blah 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 inn.
Perfect.
Oh, we had a room there.
We
That
did.
was one of our 4 rooms.
Yes. I remember that. That was the one with the fountain in the lobby, right?
Yes. We only walked into the entrance just once. And that was it. But
I don't know how the rooms are, but the lobby was quite nice.
She can come calling at any time she wishes.
Oscar,
Yes.
you should
hold
make
on
sure
one
that
second.
you're.
UK unmute for a sec. Let me count down so make sure that they can actually hear me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. UK, assuming you can actually hear me, my apologies. I am way behind in uploading YouTube. My wife has actually said that she'd be more than happy to help me out with that so I can get all caught up. It will be coming soon, I promise. Things are just absolutely crazy right now with my personal life and Lost Initiative and everything going on. I promise it'll be good. Hopefully before November, I get everything kind of set up, but October is just, again, a crazy month. So I do apologize. Sorry. You're going to want to mute again. So back to the story. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So you were saying?
Wait, I was talking.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry. I should have waited. I was. Okay. I'm gonna say, Oscar, you introduce yourself. You were the one that was on the letter that was that actually had the decipher on it.
Oscar will actually add that and say, you're right. And if Governess would like to speak to me at any point, I'll be at the same place. My name is what's my rank? Hold on. What is my rank again?
Master Venator.
Master Venator. My name is Master Venator McLaughlin.
I will pass the word along.
Know what it means. And yeah, we'll leave it at that.
And you guys can kind of more or less leave, go find a room, and set yourselves up. Are you going to find yourselves into that fancy room that you had passed through that one time before?
The one that we rented that we that we never went into at all. Yeah. Why not, right?
We parked the carriage next to it.
Just never
we stayed in the carriage.
Well,
we are bad with in rooms. I don't think we've actually stayed in any of the ones.
That's not true. There's that one where you guys killed a person in it.
We didn't stay there.
Let's
we
just
rented
get a nice
the room and we
suite that
killed
all
someone.
3 of us can stay in.
We do need a room that all 3 of us.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
I don't take up much space. The closet is fine.
It will need to have 1 separate bedroom for Chris Ellen.
Honestly, if there's like a lounge, Oscar's fine on that. Like Oscar's fine on the floor. So like if there's just a separated bedroom, I think we're fine. Like if it's more of a like suite space type idea.
Wait till Oscar gets older and he's in his 40s, he's got back problems. All those
It's actually really
times
good for you to
I
sleep on
could've
your back on the floor.
in a bed.
It's really good to sleep on the floor. Like I've got pretty major back problems just because. Also another problem with being a tall person. I sleep on the floor pretty much every second night. Yeah, just because it's better for my back.
I sleep on the couch very often.
I love sleeping on couches.
I love the couch. It's so comfy.
Again, another
Bad
problem
for your
with being
body.
a tall person. You don't fit on most couches to lie down
Sectional,
on.
baby. Sectional.
Even still, sectionals are
So
not.
Scott sleeps like a C. It's like around the edge.
You would 1,000% fit just fine on my sectional, Will.
Would I? Oh, that's exciting. Okay, well,
You fit on mine too.
to happen when stuff
For a
settles.
cuddle.
This is good to know. I'm gonna be moving.
Yeah, our sectional used to have a chase, which was really nice.
Mine
for tall
has a
people.
chase.
Yeah. Like what? Is it a sectional without a chase? Oh, man. Then it's
Yeah.
just kind of a sectional.
Old people, coming from Florida, I'm the expert when it comes to old people. The lazy boy that we had was like the most popular ones was like all recliners, which is the craziest thing.
Mine's a lazy boy. It has 2 recliners, then a proper sofa, and it ends in a chase. It's like
Yeah, we had one like that. Just not leather because Florida's not nice with leather.
I don't have a couch currently. I live in a bachelor suite, so I have.
I had a couch, right, when I was lived in kind of like a bachelor situation. I went to the Salvation Army and I bought a third-hand couch for $30, and it lasted me for 4 years. It's awesome.
Here's the thing: I do technically have a couch. It is currently in a storage closet, upright, because I had the choice of either having my table out, which I used to do my work from home, or I had the option of having the couch out. And the couch that I have is a very uncomfortable couch that was given to me by some friends. They're lovely people. They have terrible taste in furniture. Because this thing has just a metal bar up the center of it, because it is a like fold down futon thing, and it just is the most.
That's not a couch. That's a futon.
It's a anyways.
Futons
But that's
are couches. They're just
futons they're a type of couch. They're just a shitty.
I think I've
couch.
broken 3 futons. Like,
Look, I'm not gonna argue with you that they're bad. They're terrible. They're awful, horrible, not worth it at all things. But they're still a couch. It's just not a good version of a couch. It's like, you know, how soft taco is just a vastly superior version of a taco.
No, I 100% agree on that one.
I third that.
I'm sorry, Doxy. I just had to for you. I'm sorry.
Hard tacos are disappointing and painful to eat. Like when you're biting into a hard taco, it stabs you in the roof of your mouth.
They're a traitor,
like,
right? they're a traitor.
Just think of a...
I did it when I was 1 year old.
Okay, so just think of a futon as a hard shell taco.
So it's a sandwich.
Yeah, right. Totally.
Okay, moving on.
So the room we have has a futon, has a bed and a closet, right? Because that's what we need.
Okay. Well, Josh gets back in the closet. Will's on his favorite sleeping receptacle, and Doxy
How much is this room gonna cost us?
40
Yeah, I have 2 gold.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Because
I got it.
futons are worth it. No, I'm just kidding, Doxy. It'd be like 8 gold.
Okay,
Holy shit! Still,
For the
I
night.
still have it.
for the night, 8 gold for a night.
I was just bragging about how I had the most gold in the party, and now I'm broke as shit. But okay. So
I still have 96 gold.
So when you guys go and set up this room and so on and so forth, it's not like it's this huge. Oh my god, it's amazing! It's definitely great for 3 people. It's amazing for like a couple, and 3 people are making it work. You know what I mean? So
wait a minute. I'm like a dog, though. I could just sleep on the foot of the bed, like sideways. I'm only 2 feet tall, right? Like 2.
That sounds racially insensitive to know.
Ellen does not share a bed unless she's making riding checks.
Well,
I don't want to be on the bed. I might fall off, and that hurts when it's like your height.
Josh sits at the foot of the bed and gives you like those.
Josh, maybe. Laszlo, no. Oh God.
What? No.
He crawls under the
Laszlo's
blankets.
not a creep. All right.
He crawls under the
I don't
blankets in
see
the
him.
middle of the night. Doxy doesn't know until the morning.
No. Let's be fair. Chris Ellen's the bed is Chris Ellen's favorite terrain. She would notice. Right.
Nice. All right, moving on. So you guys go up. You settle in for the evening. Late at night, like long after you guys would have kind of like settled down, because you're not going to go out to the casino quite this night. You just traveled today, right? You have a couple of days to settle in. You can go tomorrow night, so on and so forth. Kind of get a.
On my downtime, I would like to write a letter to Elise that just says "miss you, wish you were here."
Oh, gotcha. I was like Elise, but you mean Isaac. Gotcha. So
Yeah.
and you send that. Cool. Thank you. And there is a at the door.
You're and Juan are pointing at the door.
Oscar opens the door.
Avada Kedavra! You just
That's
brought
nice.
pizza, man.
All right. Oscar's gonna open the door. And just
Okay, you open the door.
no caution.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You open the door, and the woman that you see standing before you is a tall, attractive, well-dressed, very serious-looking woman with her eyes show seriousness, but she has a big smile on her face. You can very quickly identify her from all of your time of knowing your own government as Krilla Isaac.
Yeah. Welcome. And Oscar will motion and say, if you'd like to come in.
She walks past you.
What's the appropriate term for it? It's lazy
Governess.
Governess? Lady Isaac?
Yep, either of those work. You can also call her because she's also a mage, so you can call her I forgot the
Savant.
word. Yeah, you can call her savant. Sure.
That's what Laszlo would go with then. That would what Laszlo would go the magic route. That means more to him than the other ones.
So she walks in while everybody else is like, I imagine. While Chris Ellen is somebody that's always on, if you will. I imagine because it's so late in the evening that she might even be kind of like in her turn down. And Laszlo is probably like feet up on the futon, lying with his back on the floor, with a book over his head reading.
Yeah, like he fell asleep reading or something. Laszlo has pretty good perception though. He'd probably wake up with the door. And I will go fetch Chris Ellen. She has her own room.
So she would definitely, if Chris Ellen's not out in the common area, she would definitely like look after, watch him pop up and kind of like, huh, and then, you know, go and get Chris Ellen.
Just like a head pops behind the futon. Oh.
And the meerkat has awoken in the late evening, alerted to danger. It goes to tell its herd.
She turns to you and says, as he kind of walks off, she turns her attention from him and looks to you and says, Master Venator.
Lady Isaac.
Krilla.
Oscar.
You gonna offer me a drink?
Absolutely. What would you like?
Do you have anything stiff?
Yeah, Oscar pulls out the real stiff whiskey that he has.
The never-ending barrel. The never-ending barrel.
I refill it whenever I go to the barracks, and he says, "You had whiskey from the barracks recently?"
She says, actually, it's been a considerable amount of time since I've left this city. I'd love some.
Oscar grabs 2 glasses. I'm assuming that this is kind of like a full suite hotel room.
Yes, and, but again, like comfortable for like a couple, not meant for the, Mm-hmm.
So, but
like
basically,
a kitchenette. Like, yeah.
Are there 4 glasses in the kitchenette, or are there 2 glasses? Because that's kind of a...
honestly, because it's meant to be like a place that in case you invited somebody over, there would be 4.
Cool. He's gonna pull 4 glasses out and pour the appropriate amount of whiskey, because he drinks whiskey. He knows the appropriate amount. So it's he'd probably do 2
or
fingers.
3 fingers. Okay.
It was probably 2 fingers, because probably to start off and be polite, and then provide that to her right away, and then look to Laszlo and Chris Ellen as they're coming out, and just will kind of motion with the whiskey and say, 2 fingers, 3.
First thing before I come back out, Scott, Laszlo is gonna want to cast this arcane awareness on himself, just so he can see what magic, because that's what he wants to know their magic. He just wants to. It only lasts a minute, so it's not like detect magic or anything like that. So he'll do it within. He'll do it on himself, and then he'll come right before he comes back out. And he'll tell Chris what he's doing. He's just so he can see what effects she has on her.
You guys have a moment RPing inside that room, and then I will steal Will away.
It literally would be like, Chris Ellen, excuse me, I'm sorry to wake you.
I wasn't sleeping. She folds up the letter that she was writing to Elise. Spritzes it with perfume, stuffs it in an envelope.
The savant Isaac is here.
Oh, wonderful. And I'll get up, toss a couple of lazy pins in my hair, and it somehow looks incredible. And throw on like a shirt and head out, like start heading for the door.
Okay, so when you guys come walking into the room, just as a reminder of what she looks like, and then I'm going to go to Will because we have a couple moments. So she's mid to late 20s in age, stands about 5'6" in height, short dark black hair, piercing brown eyes, very attractive woman with, we're talking like borderline flawless skin, one of those things that Chris Ellen would immediately pick up on. And she just walks around typically in like a very formal Maltese military garb. You know what I mean? Knee-high leather boots and everything, right? Like walks around with the gloves on. So it's one of those things where when you go and you pour the glass and you go to hand it to her, she literally is removing her glove and placing on her gloves and placing them onto the counter, and takes the glass. And she says, to our fallen brothers and sisters, and we'll take a drink and say, how'd you get this shit job?
Which one?
And with that, you can have the other two kind of walking back in. Yeah. You guys hear him saying, which one? And she says, well, I mean, this isn't exactly your forte, is it? Behind the enemy lines, scouting about for weak points, looking to strengthen them?
Not my forte. If it were magical beast that needed slaying behind enemy lines, much more my speed. But, and Oscar will actually look over to Laszlo.
And you brought a nerd with you.
Well.
I take offense to that, governess.
She says, don't worry. He's a big boy. He could get offended himself.
I can't tell if she's being cheeky back and like knows that I know that she was talking about him.
Oh, roll an empathy check.
Sure.
Oscar's assuming she is.
Anything pings on my eyes?
Are you happy with your 12?
Yes.
Okay. She's absolutely being cheeky.
Okay.
Yep.
And
you actually with that 6 stunt right there, you get a pretty good pickup on her. She's what is it? She's kind of like a fun. Seems to have a fun personality. Like she's.
I met her.
gregarious.
We got along. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
she
I'll
was
say,
a slightly different personality in that
again.
scenario because she was in like a more formal thing than this.
Right.
Here she's even more relaxed. But I'm sorry, you just said Doxy?
A pleasure to see you again. And I hand her the letter from her sister.
You go to hand her the letter. She doesn't even reach out to take it. She says, let me guess. Your girlfriend asked me to have a meeting with you?
Well, she does me favors, but I think that she genuinely wanted to speak with you.
She wanted to speak with me?
I believe.
She takes the letter from you and puts it on the counter in front of her. Thank you.
She also wanted you two to speak. I'm sorry, communication isn't really my thing, but it seems like honesty is probably the best action here.
Well, there's a multitude of things that we can speak about. I just wanted to, first and foremost, invite you to illegal shenanigans.
Illegal shenanigans?
Yeah, you know about the casino.
Of course, I put it there.
So you'll accompany us then?
Of course not. I can't be seen there. They can't know that it exists, or I can't get
with
the
all of the
information that I get
clothes
from
and
it.
all of the makeup that I have, we can make sure that you will not be seen there.
Oh, sweetheart, with skin like this, I don't need to wear makeup.
What do you do? Is that olive oil?
She
Rose
goes,
water?
She goes, I couldn't tell you. My sister would try to copy.
I would tell her. I have a weakness.
So, what brings the three of you here? What were you looking to learn?
Is much to discuss. I believe that Oscar is actually the best person for this conversation.
Well, are you fine with me being completely blunt and very honest in this particular space, or would you prefer that some measures be taken first?
I'm not concerned about whether or not anybody's listening.
Good. In that case, for the information that you gather a lot, you know your way around everything and everywhere in Amulta, it seems. It's very good. It's very enticing to us because we are going to be needing to travel silently at times. We're going to need to get information at times. We are working to help the Crown discern information and help them determine best paths forward and provide recommendations based on that, as you know, going behind enemy lines, etc., etc. Realistically, that is going to expand into other journeys where we have to go across borders. Really, as a Master Venator, makes it really hard to go in my armor unnoticed across borders. People know, they for some reason know what a Venator is and looks like. We need more subtle ways to travel. We need more subtle ways to get by, and I'm wondering if you know any methods or could lead us to contacts who might be able to meet those methods.
She just spoke of clothes and makeup.
Yes. That's one method, and that is helpful, but pathways are better.
Do you really think that you could walk around wearing Venator garb and hope to not be noticed? I mean, it's a double-edged sword's reputation.
At all times.
And people still seem to notice?
Yes, well, apparently I reek of Amulta. And Oscar will take a long draw of the whiskey.
She says, I'm not entirely sure exactly how it is you smell from this distance, but You do seem to have that kind of stiffness to you.
Yes, it's a weakness. I suppose we all have them. Oscar will say, looking over to Chrisellen, and then look to Laszlo, who is currently shaking his head. At any rate.
Well, first and foremost, disguising what you look like would, of course, be... I don't need to explain this to you. These are very rudimentary things.
Of course.
So what are you looking for? The ability to pass without other people noticing you?
Specifically across borders.
But borders to where?
That depends. We're currently determining our best course of action. There could be either a way north or a way, again, back into Yovance, although that is going to be a mess no matter what, and even potentially into Iscaria, depending on what we need at what point. I will be honest with you, it's kind of a crapshoot right now. We're honestly not sure yet where we're going to be going because we're still determining all of the information.
Are you quite aware of our dealings in Yovance?
Oh, I know nothing about what's going on.
If you've the time and we've the whiskey, could be fun to regale you.
There is a game that we used to play back when, I served the way I used to serve as opposed to the way that I do now. Every question costs a drink.
Hold on. Oscar goes and grabs another cask of whiskey out of his bag. Brought some extra just in case.
Well, there's 3 of you. You can't ask 1 drink per individual question.
Do you have to drink?
Or we could musical chairs. There is another room to this suite.
Musical chairs? I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean by that. What a game.
Like take turns privately.
Oh. I imagine that you all intend to have open conversation, unless you have secrets from one another.
Of course we
Oh,
do.
well, I don't. I don't have any secrets, but that's... my life is kind of an open book anyways in terms of the Amultese military and record, so...
I did read your file.
Oh, fantastic. Oscar just kind of smiles a smile of like, oh no. But also that's not unexpected.
Yeah, it's not anywhere near as deep of a probe that I had to go into Laszlo, of course.
Well, far more interesting files, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, you have to know the great-grandparents of the person that you're allowing into your country before you allow them to settle.
Interesting.
So,
I want to empathy check that.
Go ahead.
Is she applying me? Is she talking about me? Because that would be a big difference. That's a different story between Oscar and talking about Laszlo.
Yes. You know she's talking about you.
I'll look at her and I'll say, interesting, you can get records from Eustace.
Could I walk into Eustace and pick up a file and walk out? No.
That's not what I asked. I asked, could you get them? Not, did you get them?
Being awfully stern there, Laszlo.
I'm not one that's good with wordplay. I'm sorry.
that makes 2 of us, and Oscar pours you a drink, Laszlo, and hands it to you. And
did I
also
see
pours one
anything?
for Chrisellen.
By the way, with my arcane awareness, did I see anything on her? Any magics in effect?
You don't pick any of the magics up off of her.
Okay.
Chrisellen, 2 fingers, 3.
Better make it 3.
Better make it 3. All right. It's gonna pour some whiskey for you.
A splash of warm water, if you will.
Of course.
And with that, she'll sit down, totally relaxed, and indicate one of the plush chairs for the governess, and say, "Please sit. I know we're not outfitted for entertaining properly, but I still think that we could have some very pleasant conversations this evening."
Well, as I said beforehand, let's make this interesting. I can't stand a dull evening, so she goes over and sits down and says, Laszlo's already asked a question, as Oscar has asked 3. Please drink up and start asking.
This game isn't entirely fair.
The game just started.
Oscar
You
takes
can't
3 drinks.
Are are we rationing based off her size?
She looks down at you and says, "Did you need a taller stool, Laszlo?"
No, I meant the amount of liquor.
I thought gnomes were well renowned for having stout livers. Related to dwarves, aren't you?
Now that is an interesting
Offensive.
point of context.
I'll just look at her in the eyes and take a sip because that was pretty impressive that she would just drop that shit right there.
Yeah.
And I go, interesting word use.
And so she nods and looks back to Crystalline and says, "So, you had questions?" And she takes a sip of her liquor.
I say, well, really, I had stories.
Guess I just don't make it boring.
Luck that shit. Yeah.
Priscilla tells the fuck out of an entertaining story about all the things that happened in Yovance. Down to the Luthera, down to somebody making a fucking Luther wine, down to somebody making a Luther wine, a Luther winery after hearing tales of the amazing Luther wine and it being actually nasty crap. Like she just regales everything.
You mentioned the head in the basket.
Oh God, she would.
Everything.
She would tell everything, and she would tell it truthfully and entertainingly.
Truth be told, I've heard less than half of these stories, and they are all remarkable.
So at any rate, if you'd like to take a drink, go ahead and ask me a question.
I'm not entirely sure. You know, actually, what do I get my sister for this upcoming holiday? She is damn near impossible to purchase for. And she takes a large swig. I'm being completely serious.
I was considering a plant of some kind, but perhaps you could do the plant and I could find something more romantic.
A plant?
And I write down the names of several like fancy good gift plants.
There are some nice ones that go really well with art. That's actually a very good, like, just like genuinely, if you can pair a plant to go in a location with some art, it can really actually sell a piece of its ambiance and actually keep the environment around it a little bit cooler. It's good. It's a very good gift. It's very solid. Sorry,
So
just
there are
totally,
ones that smell nice. There are ones that are useful. Like
Yeah.
there's all kinds of.
There's a lot of really good options for that. That's a very good gift. I
And I
also
would
really
write-
like plants.
I would scrawl out just like a quick guide.
Scott, is there anything in this world kind of like the ever burning torch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're less common, but they exist.
I would say, Crysella, not to interrupt. I would recommend, and then I would say whatever that's called in this world. And I'd say it's a magnificent piece of magic that would help preserve art for being around it. It doesn't produce heat like the other, like regular torches or light sources.
Now that is something I'd be interested in. Perpetual light.
Plants also happen to balance humidity, but you know, whatever. It's fine.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Laszlo, look down. I'm sorry.
It's one of those things where she like pushes away the plant paper.
Keep it for the future.
Oh, please just write down the name of a botanist. I'd rather buy that for her.
The botanist?
Oh, yes. Not literally purchase the botanist, but buy them off.
And she'll jot down a few good botanists, I suppose.
Like
Most of them are based in Ascaria, though, because that's where she lives.
Well, yeah, Ascaria-based botanists that are probably also jewels. You know what I mean?
Dr. P.L. Ant. So,
Oh, that's so bad. I love it.
Oh, it's painful. Like my soul hurts. So anyways,
Scott, to be honest with you, I have no idea what you want me to be asking her.
No, you're
like,
perfectly fine.
I know that this meeting is mostly about Oscar and her.
And you can move it on to the next one. So she'll actually, I did want to interject, sorry, since she did tell a story, and then we kind of like jumped into a weird portion there.
Oh wait, I do have a question. And I take a deep drink and I say, an embarrassing tale about her from her past. Nothing she'd be angry about you telling me about.
Go on.
I'm asking you for one.
Oh, my apologies, I misunderstood you, Doxy. She says, you would like me to divulge an embarrassing story about my sister?
Yeah.
I have not had enough glasses of these for that. But it looks like there's enough barrels.
Oscar slides one of the casks over.
She refills her glass. Yeah. And then she actually will say, I'm sitting here before you. I'm sure you have questions. Please, feel free to ask.
Oscar motions and takes a swig first and then puts the glass down and just says, do you have access and contacts into Galdaria?
I do.
Oscar takes a follow-up swig and puts the glass down and says, are those people that you could introduce us to?
They're indirect, not direct, but a chain could be made. Truth be told, for the kind of context that you'd likely be looking to use, you'd be better off dealing with Lady Korvosk. But I still have my own contacts.
Oh, we've come to the portion of the evening where I must ask you for a favor.
She turns to you.
I feel like that's a whole drink.
Sure. However much you decide this favor is worth, if it kills me, I will drink it. I need to win favor back with Ms. Korvosk. I don't know what my problem was the last time I spoke to her, but she did not take to me well.
You had a misstep with her? Where was this?
Yes.
In the capital?
Yes.
Where did you meet her? When did you meet her?
Well, I was helping her to load her carriages on her way through to Galdaria.
How much do you know about Nadia?
Slim to nothing.
Nadia, much like my sister, is a woman that is born from and for the better things in life. She's a woman that's meant to sits in a gown in a room where she converses with others and flits about and makes the various kind word kind of exchanges that happen in a court. If you caught her at a time where she was more handling work or business, let's just say that is not a typical day for her. She's not a person for loading caravans. So whatever the circumstances were that you encountered her in, they were not favorable for anybody looking to meet with her. So I imagine a small misstep could be made great, and a great misstep could be catastrophic. Let's just hope whatever step you took, it was a baby one.
I fear it wasn't.
Well, in that case, we will avoid Korvosk, and I'll introduce you to some of the people that I know personally. Some of the people that know people that I know personally.
You have my gratitude for that.
That's good luck with that one in the future. Didn't she like you?
I'm frightened.
I'm pretty sure you were the one that... She was the one that had pushed you forward in the council.
Yeah.
That's used so much against Grisellen.
I really messed up, and I don't know how.
Well, some wounds don't heal.
Laszlo's. I'm sorry.
No,
Laszlo's gonna look at Oscar and goes, Oscar, if you don't mind, I don't think I'll be able to ask very many questions after this.
No, this is by all means. You take the lead for now. I'll be here a while.
I'm gonna walk over to the barrel and I'm gonna fill the cup up to the brim. and he's gonna drink it all, and then he's gonna fill it up again and
God.
drink it all.
Oh God. She says,
And he's gonna say,
strong
and he's
shit,
gonna,
man.
she turns to Oscar and says, "Do you know CPR?"
Yeah.
Excuse me for a moment. And Crisellan goes and rummages through closets and finds a bucket.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that's why he looks at her after he takes the first drink. He doesn't like. Well, I mean, he's been drinking a lot lately, actually. But
Yeah.
he's gonna look and goes, "I want to make sure I can ask you coherently before I'm not of any use." And then he's gonna drink the second one, and he's gonna look at her, and he's gonna say,
Can you make me a whatever constitution, a drinking check
Stamina.
or whatever it is?
I think there is
drinking, yeah.
I think there is drinking. Yeah.
I have
is
it.
that con?
Yeah.
Is that Constitution?
Josh,
It is
Constitution.
Constitution.
Have you ever swigged that much liquor at once? That's like 16 ounces of liquor. That's like a pint of liquor.
You are
Well, I mean,
literally gonna
wait. How
spew
big
it.
are these cups? Because I was imagining like an 8 ounce,
like a rock star.
Like a
You just did
tumbler?
two
Okay,
of
all
them.
right.
You just
Alright,
that's a
yeah.
lot of
11. I'm gonna luck it because I need to ask this fucking
Yeah, I'll
question.
luck it.
14.
That's not bad.
You take down the first one and it hurts your stomach. You say your words. You go to take down the second one. Halfway through it, you can feel your throat tightening. Your mouth is dry. Your stomach is flipping. You know it's a bad idea. You literally know you're poisoning yourself. It's like when you sit there and you're like you know this is a bad idea. And you throw it back. It's literally one of those things where
I have to.
your white knuckle, whatever's nearby, whether it be like the countertop as well as the glass in your other hand, you literally have to spend like 7, 8, 9 seconds just steadying yourself, trying to breathe slowly, just trying to hold it in. Once again, you can feel yourself. You can feel the gag reflex happening.
I run my fingers down his spine, like putting pressure on certain points, like I'm like running down a piano, helping it to get down.
She
easier.
allows you, her soothing nature allows you to verp, which.
Oh yeah.
Ew.
No, he's disgusting right now. I get it. And I'm holding on to the chair. I'm holding on to the chair, and I'm not looking at her because I'm just focusing on the spot so I don't get dizzy if I start moving and things start hitting. And I'm gonna go.
She's actually the whole time you're doing this, she's watching Oscar. Like she's looking at Oscar like.
Oscar is just looking at Laszlo, and like literally, it's the Picard face in palm right now. Like just.
I'm gonna say I don't know how much this is gonna be needed. I'd like to learn your shadow magics.
What shadow magics?
The shadow magics that your operatives use. The secret magics of Amulta.
Secret shadow magics of Amulta.
Yes, being able to travel great distances in shadow and being able to manipulate and listen to things from a distance. I was...
Who told you such tall tales?
I mean, most people are tall.
Did he just crack a joke?
I think he did. Yes.
That
the alcohol
from time
must
to
be
time,
setting.
it's very pleasant.
my former my sensei.
Oh, is that who told you about it?
Yeah.
That's a deception check, and
No, he told us.
I'm pretty sure it was Lady Arceum.
No, he said it.
Oh, it's
It
him.
was him
Yeah.
first. It was him first.
So my apologies. What the hell's his name again? It is.
I have it somewhere.
I don't know this dude's name. I just know he's creepy. It's
I actually gave him a name that I didn't know how to say. It's in our Foss. Yes, Foss. Why is that not in my notes? All right.
that should be in your notes. 'Cause
Yes.
it's never going to be in mine, and I'm going to be asking you questions about him at some point.
Thank you, Vance.
Igor. I think it's Igor Fox. False.
So she says, Foss told you about this.
Well, in his ramblings, I don't think it was on purpose.
And you believe everything Foss says?
I believe everything he says is true, but deciphering it is a different story.
I think you need that bucket, Laszlo. You guys look over. He's turning green.
Excuse me.
Can I insight to see if she's purposely trying to keep information that was requested?
Sure, go ahead.
Also, Oscar hasn't taken his eyes off of Laszlo this whole time. Jesus Christ, Doxy.
Are you happy with your 18?
Yes.
Doxy's good.
Okay. But how good is she? Let me roll.
That's the
She's
question.
gonna be really good because she's a secret person.
This is literally a secret lady.
So yeah, Laszlo would be like, well, then that was a waste of liquor. And I'm gonna grab the bucket and just walk over to the closet.
If I paid money for that liquor, I'd be upset.
Oh, wait,
it's
stop
met,
points.
but
Wait,
with-
stop.
No,
You cheating bastard.
yeah, I
You
was
knew
gonna
the
say he's gonna
DC.
roll.
You knew the DC.
that's actually true. I did know the DC. Were you allowed to use that dice?
You know what? Honestly, I could take it back because you rolled first, and due to stunt, I think we're
They're
tied.
both the same. They're
You are
tied.
tied. It's an
Exactly the same.
exact
100% tie.
And what do
Yeah.
you always say? Ties go to.
It's a perfect tie. We have to roll a d6 to see who breaks the tie.
Fuck.
Doxy, that's not actually the rule.
Oh.
It's not.
It goes
Ties
to
go
PCs.
to players.
Goes
He
Oh.
always says that. He
Nice.
always says that.
You are pretty sure, like you're not positive, but you think you're pretty sure she was specifically avoiding answering that question. But she did mention, I think you need the bucket, and
He believes her. I'm not in a state that I'm gonna
no,
challenge her.
And you need the
No.
bucket. Roll me that check again.
I will legit just leave the room and go to the closet if he's
Sure.
gonna start purling, so they can keep going.
You can go and purge.
Yeah.
Delightful.
When my best friend vomits, he sounds like a turkey. Like it's like
I understood. Weirdly enough.
Mine is just like, and then no other sounds besides splattering.
Well, it's just all of a sudden you hear a faucet in the background.
Yeah.
You know, like someone turned on a bathtub.
I dry heave for hours and then probably don't vomit. It's awful. I wish I could vomit, but I rarely do. What's up, sir?
I was just saying I haven't vomited in a very long time.
Yeah,
Since I was a kid.
Dude, I gave
I
myself
puked
food
just the
poisoning.
other day.
Yeah.
It was awful.
I gave myself food poisoning like a year and a half ago. It was horrible. When you're vomiting and you poop soup, it's not good. It's not good.
I have a lot of problem on the other end. This end seems to be doing fine, but the other end has a real hard time most of the time.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. So Oscar's gonna take a small swig and then put it down on the table and just look over to her and say, "Oh, that wasn't for a question. That was just for question for myself, I suppose. How I got here." And
Wait. I'm sorry. I'd like to pay the rest of the price for you to teach Laszlo the shadow magics.
You're assuming there are shadow magics that could be taught, and if there were shadow magics that could be taught, that I'm some degree of teacher.
I think it's the second part that's in question, if Chris Ellen is picking up on that.
Perhaps you misunderstand. You are a good dancer. I'm a slightly better dancer. I noticed you dance around that subject, and we paid the price. If there's a balance left, then let me pay it.
Couple of sips of liquor, you think is going to be the cost to unlock some secret magics?
You might have killed my tailor.
One thing I'll note.
We always
as
pretend
well-
he's my tailor on the road.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. My apologies.
One thing I'll note as well.
Actually, let me respond to Doxy first.
Sure.
The gentleman picked up 2 glasses of liquor of his own volition and drank them to their last drop before engaging in a conversation. And you dare to point the blame at me?
Well, that's fair. You made the rules.
Yeah.
And then
1 drink per question.
drinks for information.
Fair enough.
The thing I was going to note is that if this secret shadow magic exists, hypothetically, and if Laszlo were to be taught it, and if Laszlo is to survive his vomiting, in theory, that would also help solve getting us across borders. It would help us do what we need to do for the crown. In theory.
Roll a communications check.
I'm trying to be quiet.
Can I like assist him somehow?
I'm gonna just luck that
this
one.
This is on him at the moment.
I'm gonna luck
Sure.
that.
Okay.
So that's 14. It's not. I mean, that's good for Oscar, to be perfectly honest. I'm assuming this wasn't leadership. This was just a general communication.
I also think that she likes you more than she likes me, so you might have a lower DC than
Maybe.
I do.
Maybe.
She says, "The crown."
Yes.
Bringing that up. That is my focus. The Queen. I wish to see her do well. Unfortunately, she surrounds herself with advisors that are idiots.
Very old-fashioned, some of them, yes.
Unfortunately. The choice to send the three of you to get this job done was certainly not something that I would have chosen to do. I had my own cabal ready, waiting, prepared, with task at hand and how to accomplish it. You were also given a task. Failed miserably. But in your floundering about, discovered a potential other course. I'm sure that you've found the various red tape you'd have to come sprinting through like a runner at the end of a race if you're hoping to even begin this inkling of a dream that you have. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. Since you gave me the courtesy, I'll return it. It's a stupid plan. It's foolhardy, it's costly, it'll throw away so many lives, and most likely it'll fail. That being said, I can also say on good faith that the Queen likes it. Or at least what little she knows of it.
If I may be so bold.
I prefer my men bold.
Good to know. Just, but also just okay. Either way, I believe that the plan that we are putting together is people first. It is a plan that is people forward. It is a plan that is meant to, yes, it will cost lives. It will cost a lot of money too, but the lives are really what matter. But the thing is, we put it forward.
What you're selling is emotion.
Yes.
It's an ideology.
Precisely.
Ideologies are sloppy. Facts are how you get things done.
Which is precisely why
Facts.
we're here.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yes, I know you are, and this is why I'm trying to be completely upfront with you. The emotion is what will convince people, but facts are what will keep them. Without facts backing us up, without knowing what we're getting into, without knowing how to take our next steps, without moving these steps forward using actual intelligence and not floundering around, we're going to fail.
You need intelligence not from Amulta. That gets passed to the crown, and depending on the intelligence through the different advisors, you need intelligence from outside of Amulta if you're going to be successful. There is a recent situation that's brought itself about. You were causing a bit of a distraction in one way, things happen in another direction. A short way to explain it is an old face came rearing its ugly head in Yovance recently. If you're looking to the south, or more aptly considering where we are at the moment, to the east of where we are right now, excuse me, specifically at Beso, there happens to be a bit of a rival to the city structure that kind of came back from the shadows, believed to have been killed even. But they've returned, and they're setting the seeds, laying the roots for their own organization. This person could be an incredible ally, an asset to your cause. Beso is a very, very important location for what your plan is.
It's based on the way we drew it up. It's pretty much the main instrumental point of focus. And Oscar will actually take the draft military plan that he was starting to prep with Priscillin for Bobmo. And we'll kind of toss away the papers that are no good, but pull out the map piece and like that has the detailed work on it, and we'll kind of pass that along to her and just say, so out of Beso here, but where are the contesting structures for that, if you don't mind? And he'll take a drink and put the drink back down.
In Beso.
In Beso as well.
No, in Beso.
Okay.
It's based out of Beso.
Right. So what I mean is, where are their contesting factors?
Out of game, what do you mean by that? I'm so sorry.
What I mean by that is, this is a new reared ugly head starting to sow the seeds. Where are the people that contest against that person? Base.
Oh,
yeah.
In Beso. You see, there's did you hear? You must have received the reports recently that the armed forces have moved away from the front lines.
We had, yes. Did we receive that report? I believe we did. Yeah, yeah. So Oscar will really, yeah, yes.
This is why.
Interesting.
There was an attack in Beso. There was a warehouse that was burnt down after being stolen from. There was the home of the noble himself that runs this region, the merchant that runs this region. His house was ransacked. His family was tied up and, from what I understand, handled none too kindly. I'm surprised they lived, truth be told. I mean, there was a considerable amount of devastation done, as if I would make a guess myself, directly to him. He took his forces and head south. He head home. He's trying to gather things. In his home, he is both his strongest and his weakest.
Interesting. So
you're not an assassin.
No,
I'm not suggesting this.
I wasn't even going to go there. What I was
but
going
I'm
to ask,
offering it.
Well, that's a whole other question.
How does that make us better than Yovance?
It doesn't. The main concern I have with that, and just hear me out on this, the main concern I have on that is a massive disruption like that is something that will happen in war, of course. These things happen. And Oscar will actually look quite stern in this, like, for Crisellin's sake, mostly. He'll look quite stern on this and be looking... Oh, he's almost gone into military mode. Less jovial, less whiskey on the lips, more actual, regular, not regular self, but when you first met him, regular self. And he'll just kind of look and say, we do need to take action. I don't disagree that that's a course of action. What are the other factors at play?
I see why you always stand out like a Venator. That cold, brooding look that you've got right there, it works for you. I'm sure you've noticed, Chris.
I only have eyes for one.
She'll actually roll her eyes at that, oh, that was so served to her on a spoon. It's oh.
Oscar picks up his drink and just takes a very long draw for the first time, realizing that was an actual line, and he now takes a bit of a longer drink.
So she looks back at you and says, there are multiple avenues that can be taken, but before we can discuss those avenues, we need to retorts to the insult that was just tossed my way. And she'll actually look back at Crescellin and say, how does that make Amulta better than Yovance? What makes a nation great is the way it treats its citizens, but also the way that it treats its enemies. You can agree with me, hands down, that Amulta treats its citizens considerably better than Yovance treats theirs, so I won't even wait for your response. But do you know what Yovance does with its enemies? Do you understand what kind of torture they put them through? What kind of information they would try to extrapolate from them? A quick, clean death. Done probably with a bit of fear and I imagine a snap of pain, but a quick, clean death delivered all in less than a minute, and that is a sloppy one. A quick, clean death is a gift that you would offer to a shit of a person that this man is. Did you ever meet him?
Did we ever meet him?
Actually, you did.
Did we? Which one?
He was the first guy we met, the sloppy bastard that we got in a fight with that we almost got kicked out of camp.
Baby.
Okay.
So Oscar will just kind of.
You might even be like, what's his name or some sort of a thing, you know?
Yeah, Oscar would.
I had all that information. Remember, I passed the heraldry check.
That's right.
Yeah. Oscar would just kind of shake his, nod and then rub his head and just say, Laszlo had the information on the name. Crescellin, I'm not sure if you recall, but yes, we've met him.
I assure you that I meant no insult. And I fear I am repeating my misstep with the Lady Karovsk. With you, I am a woman of pleasures.
Oscar pours you some more whiskey, Crescellin, as well.
It is very hard for me to reconcile ending a life.
First and foremost, I am nothing like Lady Karovsk, so you don't have to worry about any offense that comes my way being long-lasting or petty. And secondly, you don't need to reconcile it. It won't be you doing it, or your decision to make. And then she actually turns back to Oscar and says, Master Venator. And that was meant as like a remember he's in the military, you're not sort of thing. You asked what other options there might be.
Yes.
Well, we can march soldiers down there or reinforce their soldiers, supplies, so on and so forth. I'm sure you've done some degree of logistics on this and others are being worked about in the background. Sure. But this is going to be a long and drawn out bloodied battlefield. Battle where there are going to be devastation on both sides. Now, we can't get around the fact that that is going to happen either way. However, if we were able to remove the head of the snake and allow the place to fester from within because they have this guild or whatever it is that's taking roots there, that could work in our favor. Now, neither of us want to see the city that could in theory be a capital or a beacon of hope for this new nation fall to some sort of lawlessness or chaos, right? Which is why it's imperative that we deal with whoever this new leadership is that's designing itself down in Basso early.
Power vacuums are messy.
Power vacuums are
Good
messy.
shot.
Oscar just kind of taps his nose for a moment and then just one point that's very important to consider. A power vacuum with this particular individual will be particularly messy. We spent some time with one of his slaves after we freed them. He didn't know where to go. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to be his own person. And
He wouldn't need it unless we told him to.
That will be hundreds, if not thousands of people who are in that position who will be looking for a source of truth.
If not slaughtered like dogs.
If not slaughtered like dogs.
You can see that she actually takes like one, but then because the conversation keeps going, another draw of her beverage as she's listens to something that she probably knows all too well better than the two of you. But continue. I'm sorry.
And Oscar just like notes that like he knows what a war weary looks like in terms of knowledge. Like that's just a pained thing more than anything. And he just kind of
she has a haunted one background.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He's familiar. So he kind of pauses with that and just says, "I'm sure you're aware." But my concern in that respect is that that power vacuum could be particularly messy if another instigator and another person of power isn't in place already. Because if they can go to someone and find what we are hoping for with them, which is freedom, or at least the chance at it, with someone who is already there, that is going to be a much cleaner transition for them than it would be if they don't know what to do and the streets fall to squalor.
This is why I think what we should do is ally ourselves with whomever this person is, if they are deemed somebody trustworthy or capable enough to work with. Because we need to make sure that when the blow is delivered, it is done quick and clean. The man needs to be removed, and his family removed as well, though, as far as my intelligence tells me, they are nothing like him and don't have any inkling of understanding of how politics works. They can be given a degree of diplomatic immunity in Ascaria and escorted away. I can see to that myself, even.
That would be appropriate.
But the city itself needs to fall. That is where the barracks lies. On the northern edge of the city lies just south of a river and alongside the lake. That lake is a different conversation. But on the southern side of a river lies to the northern side of the city. Technically, the city is cut through by the river, but most of it is to the south. Just north of the city, there is a barracks. That's where he houses his men, and I do mean his. He owns them, literally. And it can store a considerable number when you don't really care about the way that they're stored. I do mean thousands. He's moved his troops down to that area. That barracks is full of soldiers. That's going to have to be handled. By removing leadership, we can sow distrust, we can cause chaos, we can lead to desertion and independence. We can turn that barracks full of soldiers, or at least a considerable number of them, into allies. That goes from his barracks that we battle against to our barracks that we take the city with.
Logistically, there's going to be life loss, obviously. It's the nature of it. But I agree with you that that's mitigated. The question I have at that point, whose jurisdiction would this be under? Presumably yours.
What aspect?
The operation.
I've just had a terrible, terrible idea.
She was opening her mouth to respond, and then she'll close it and take a look at you and say, frighten us.
What if all of those men were taken out at once in a coordinated attack? I have access to assassins, and I'm sure that they could be dispatched at your disposal.
Presumably you're not referring to the 1,000 people in a barracks. Presumably you're referring to leadership figures.
Leadership figures.
There's really only one major leadership person that we were concerned about, but there are different steps that come down from that top. You think that you can supply additional aid beyond the soldiers that I have under my command?
It will be costly, but it would be professional. And I'm not saying that you're not a professional, but a ruby has never been caught.
The corner of her lip flips up at that one and says, so openly.
I know you know.
Well, considering your friends have become acquainted with one who works on both sides, I thought I was curious as to whether or not you'd be willing to be so blunt.
With you? Sure.
Has my sister put such a spell on you?
Strongest I've ever encountered, I'm afraid.
Well, maybe our shadow magics can do something to thwart them, thwart it. Blah, 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 blah. Word.
Would you like some more whiskey?
I'm afraid I rather like
I
it.
feel like I should get whiskey for this conversation.
Honestly,
Seriously,
this is a whiskey conversation for
it really
sure.
is.
If I still drank, and but
Oh, that's right. I'd be drinking by myself.
yeah.
I'll get whiskey.
Josh, what kind of whiskey do you have?
I only have the red label. Johnny Walker.
If we take our break now, I'll go get a whiskey too.
Chat, we always suggest that everybody drinks responsibly. And I am not encouraging anybody to drink, but all of us are going to be grabbing a glass of whiskey to enjoy. And what's his name over there is going to grab either a glass of
It's gonna be water.
clear whiskey, very clear whiskey.
Yeah, there you go.
This will be my first drink in months, by the way.
Ooh, hello. Doxy, you going to drink with me? Ooh. See if we can get things naughty. Be right back. Weird.